defences with a long endurance somewhere around 8 hours. The design was conceived in 1953. Just 9 months after the contract was signed, the first prototype of this aircraft took to the air in August 1955, and it went into operational service the following summer. Nearly 70 years on, this aeroplane is still one of the most sought-after reconnaissance platforms in the world. It's based here at RAF Fairford with the 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron of the United States Air Force, and here it goes, the Lockheed U-2S. We're delighted to have with us at commentary a former U-2 pilot in the form of Popeye, as he's known, Scott Thompson. Scott, welcome to RIAT 24.
Thank you very much, Ben. It's a pleasure to be here. Absolutely excited to talk to you today about the U-2 and everything that can do today and in the future.
Indeed. So this aeroplane then performing a display routine for us, what's it going to consist of?
Well, today we're going to see the airplane practice a simulated flameout approach. It just has the single engine that is right in the middle of the fuselage that is essentially designed around what you might recognize from the F-104 from Kelly Johnson's previous stable of aircraft. It's essentially an F-104 with glider wings stuck on it. They needed to get around all the different principles that people could identify as people producing an airplane. So they took existing parts off the shelf and made what you see today.
Indeed, that was one of the aspects that really compressed the development time of this airplane, as I said, that astonishingly short time frame from contract signature to first flight and then service.
Absolutely. It was what they call black procurement.
Yes.
It was a very small, tight-knit group of individuals with a vision to create something that can do what we all know it can do today, without anybody knowing about it.
Indeed, because this was a Central Intelligence Agency program before it was a US Air Force one.
That's right, it absolutely started with the CIA. The pilots that flew it started out as Air Force pilots and went through a program where they called sheep dip.
Yes.
Made them look different. So they took those Air Force pilots, made them CIA pilots, and stuck them in this jet-powered glider.
So what are we going to see from it now, Popeye?
So now it's setting up for what is the high key of the simulated flameout approach. As you can hear the engine winding down, you see drag devices beginning to come out in the form of flaps and speed brakes. That drag will help simulate that the engine has flamed out. It'll now execute a 360-degree turn down to the runway, at which point it will meet his mobile officer, that's the chase car, where he will talk him down, get very close to the runway, and then take off again for another circuit.
The chase car is positioned, where is it positioned at the moment?
It'll be positioned on the taxiway, where it usually is, and
I see it now.
As he gets his clearance to land, or clearance to low approach, the white bar will come on, the mobile officer will accelerate onto the runway to execute a merge or a formation rejoin with the aircraft. The home drone, we call it. Everyone comes, all roads lead back to Beale. So all the U-2 pilots from Beale end up coming out to the different forward operating locations that we have around the world, to include RAF Fairford.
So, next part of the display coming up then.
So the second part of the circuit that we will see is a no flap touch and go. This will be quite different from most approaches that you're used to seeing from other aircraft, and that it will approach from quite low. So if you're looking for it in your viewfinder, look over the trees, because it will be just over the tops of them, simulating a no flap. This is in the event of a loss of hydraulics, and that's what powers the flaps in this aircraft.
Someone, a U-2 pilot I saw a quote from once, said that once that pressure is on, it makes you feel like you're wearing a sleeping bag, stuffing a football helmet on your head and ski gloves to make dexterous movements even harder.
It's almost completely accurate. I would describe it as a fishbowl on my head. Yeah. And in the interview where they check to see if you have the aptitude or maybe the lack thereof to fly this airplane, they put you in the suit, put you in an ejection seat on wheels, stick you in a dark corner of a dark room, and leave you there for an hour. And then they come back an hour later and see if you're still there.
A very privileged slot, isn't it, getting to join the U-2 program?
You could think so in some ways.
And there you can see the chase car in pursuit as the U-2 rolls down the runway.
Attached to this airplane, we like to call it the Mr. Potato Head of aircraft and sensor carriers. And there's no other airplane out there that can take this amount of gear up to 70,000 feet anywhere in the world and keep it there for the duration this airplane can.
And still being regularly updated.
That's right. The aircraft is going through avionics tech refreshes on a regular basis. We have modern cockpit in there that the pilot's able to utilize touchscreen avionics through a glove that's specially optimized like that. In the U-2, we have a 52,000-foot climb check. So while there might be some other reconnaissance aircraft flying at 52,000 feet for their mission cruising altitudes, it's when we conduct our climb check, because we're going a lot higher.
Yes. Now, given that we can't, unfortunately, hear, it turns out, on the frequency we're listening to from the chase car, what will the chase car crew be calling out now?
So the chase car pilot, the driver, is counting the pilot down from different altitudes. From what I can see from the booth here, it is 4, 3, 2, 1, and nice.
Well now, that was quite the spectacle. From the 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron, the Lockheed U-2S from the United States Air Force. And I believe that if people stick around after the flying display, we might get to see something else, possibly.
You never know what's in store for you at RIAT.
Scott Thompson, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us a wonderful insight into operating and flying this fascinating aeroplane.
Thank you, Ben. Pleasure to be here.
Cutbacks, innit? Cutbacks.
We have very gorgeous weather here today, ladies and gentlemen, but that does of course mean we have to take extra care to stay hydrated, so please make sure that you're drinking plenty of water and of course wearing sunscreen throughout your visit to the Royal International Air Tattoo. Hats of course will help you stay cool today, and we've got free drinking water available at the refueling stations around the showground, and if you do feel unwell in the heat, the staff at our first aid station by Flag 21 are ready to help you. A reminder, of course, that the flying of any type of drone or small unmanned aircraft system in or around RAF Fairford is strictly prohibited and constitutes a criminal offence, so please don't fly your drones. Thank you.
And thank you there to Andy Mull, who along with George Bacon will be assisting us through the rest of the day here at RIAT 2024.